Peace, y'all. It's the Lord here, Cold World. I'm over here kicking it with my main man, Jay Wiggs. What's good, baby? What's up, man?
It's good, Brody.
Can't call it. Just want to welcome everybody here to another episode of Brodies Sports Talk. We are moving right along here. We are on episode 17. We got a lot to cover. But before we do, we just want to say thank you for all of your support here. We are approaching 500,000 views on our platforms on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. If you aren't following the Brodies, you need to. Click on the bottom right-hand corner on YouTube and subscribe. And also like and subscribe on TikTok and Instagram. But to go ahead and get started here, y'all. It's the Commanders off-season that we're going to be covering. Wiggs, you looking mighty cool there with the shades, man.
Yeah, I feel cool. Every day is cool, man. Every day is a good
cool day. You know what I'm saying? The spring's right around the corner, man. So definitely going to be doing some outside podcasting, if you will, once the weather permits.
Hey, how you feeling with the daylight savings change, man? Any effects? Like, were you feeling tired as the week started? Anything, man?
I would say that the very next day of, like the first day of the time shift, I would say I felt it a little bit. Pause. But but after that, it actually started encouraging me to get up earlier. So, so that way I ain't rushing to work and all that other stuff, man. Enjoy the day before the ruckus starts. But yeah, man. Speaking of getting up early, your boy Adam Peters has been getting up early. He's been doing a lot of work here. I don't think he's gotten much rest, considering the last time we talked about the free agency, where the Skins literally only had about 22, 24 players assigned to the roster. So he's been pretty busy. But with that busyness has created a trend that the Brodies here are just noticing here in his second stint here as the general manager, and that is this. One and done. Is AP liking this trend of the 1-year contract? Basically, Adam Peters has signed, I'd say, about another third to 2/3 of his players, under a 1-year contract. He, obviously traded for Deebo Samuels, Lattimore, and Tunsil. Those guys have multi-year deals left on their contracts via trade. But the free agents that we had last year and the free agents class of this year, I mean, he's really just been signing people to 1-year deals, particularly the people that were also on our roster last year. So my question to you, Wiggs, is what is AP doing? Is this a trend that he's trying to start where he's just giving people a bunch of prove-it contracts to give them like the max type of effort towards, the money that we're paying them? Or does he not believe in the players and he's not willing to go the all-out extent and give them a long-term deal? What do you think, man?
I think you're absolutely right, Co. What's my favorite saying from last year? I don't know you. You got to prove it. What AP is doing is saying the Commanders are about prove-it players. If you prove it, we'll re-sign you. We'll pay you. We may only give you 1 or 2 years, but you got to keep proving it. This is a league. The NFL is not for long. That's what the NFL stands for, not for long. So whenever you come to this league, you got to prove it. And AP is saying, we see what you've done. We're willing to pay players, but if you're not one of those guys that's proved it already, you're not going to get paid. And then unless you do prove it, hey, it is what it is, man. You're going to take this 1-year contract and like it. Because we got Jaden Daniels.
Of course, unless you're 5, or 17. I agree. I like the philosophy that AP is using, mainly because if anyone has been following the franchise for the past, quarter century, they would know that the former owner and the former GM would make bonehead decisions when it came to free agency. I mean, they would spend a bunch of money like on Deion Sanders, give this dude $57 million fully guaranteed on a 5-year contract, and he only played 14 games, or Dana Stubblefield or Albert Hainsworth or Adam Archuleta. The trade for running backs that'll pass their prime. The list just goes on and on. So I applaud AP for being conservative and actually giving these guys a goal line to reach. But is it something that can kind of backfire? It's like, for an example, we got Deebo Samuel off of a fifth round trade. We're not re-signing him. Obviously, he's going to play out his contract, which, based off of the numbers here, it looks like he's going to be about 17.4 million against the cap. So that's a lot of money. Now, let's just say he has one of those all-pro seasons that he had back in 2021, where he had 1,000 yards from scrimmage. He had about 10 plus touchdowns. I mean, he's going to be on the market, and he might command more than 17 million. He might ask for 21 million. You never know. Now, that's just as an example, but there's maybe some other players that might have a breakout year. You never know. So I guess my question is, does he believes in them, but not enough to basically give them a long-term deal?
Yeah, and like I said, these guys got to prove it. So Deebo, for one, you had a 1,000-yard season in 2021. Terry McLaurin has had 900 yards in the past 4 seasons. So Deebo, let's see some consistency. If you can take it from 1,000, but you're only getting 900 because you're in an offense where Jaden Daniels is going to share the ball around, then okay, let me see you get 800 yards and 400 yards rushing. Let's see what you can do, and let's see if you can do it consistently. Laramie Tunsil, you had 19 or more holding calls last year. Let's see if you can get less than one holding call a game. Let's see if you can have a perfect game, at least a game with no holding calls.
Yeah, or false starts. Then you can. He also led the tackles and false starts as well. He had 12 of them.
Okay, so let's see if you can get. Let's see if you can go a game with no penalties called.
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner. We like what you did in the run game, but let's see if you can improve in the passing game. Zach Ertz. I think Zach Ertz was one of the players that got 2 years. He was consistent all year long.
1 year. Him and Wagner another 1 year.
He got 1 year as well. Okay.
Yeah.
But they were consistent, so they at least got the number that they were looking for. But as far as can it backfire? Yes, it can, because you lose talent. You lose players like Jeremy Chin. You lose players like Dante Fowler. I would have loved to have those players on deals that, even if they were 2-year deals, Co, we would have got them at a price where the way the salary cap works, we would have got them at a price that works even better for us this year.
Yeah.
So I like the 2-year deal at least, because every year the deal that you signed the year before gets better. Mm-hmm. Kirk Cousins is on the bench. I'm gonna bring up Kirk Cousins anytime I can, because I'm a Kirk Cousins hater, and we hate on this show. We don't discriminate. We show love and we hate. But but Kirk Cousins has a contract that, even though he's on the bench, it's a price you can pay, because the contract works. Last year was a lot. By this time, it's not so much. So it can definitely backfire. However, I think players buy into the system, and I think as long as you can re-sign players, I think you're gonna have to. I think also you're setting a precedent that this is the type of team that we're gonna be in the long term. Because when Jaden Daniels signs that contract, all you're gonna have the money to do is sign people to a 1-year deal. You're not even gonna have the money anymore. So
right.
I think you're kind of letting the league know, hey, this is the way we're gonna be. We're gonna be a team that competes. We have one of the best quarterbacks. And if you guys can get used to being on 1-year, 2-year deals, because we've got to keep good players here. Like, we don't have time to waste. If you're not good, we need to be able to get rid of you between 1 or 2 years. So you're going to be playing with a good quarterback. You're going to be competing for championships. I think that's something that, as a GM, I kind of like that Adam Peters is doing it early, because it just lets free agents know this is the type of team we are. This is the type of time we're on.
Yeah, I agree. I think most importantly, he's setting the roster up similar to what the Eagles are doing, where they are going to place themselves in the future to be able to sign not only Jaden Daniels to a big contract. They're working on Terry McLaurin's extension now, so it doesn't hurt as much a few years down the road. Obviously, they're going to be looking to extend Laramie Tunsil possibly for another 2 or 3 years. You know, like he's building the roster to where they can afford the players in the future that they want in the future. Mm-hmm. And he's also kind of mimicking the Patriots, because remember, he also used to work for the Patriots, and he's kind of modeling the way he's using the draft picks, you know, like using low-end draft picks to get high-end players. You know, like the Patriots got Randy Moss for like a fifth or fourth rounder. You know what I'm saying? Randy Moss.
A fifth round pick.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like he's using his connections, his networking capabilities to get high quality players, you know, for wholesale value. And what that does in the future, like you said, like it promotes the players that are on 1 to maybe 2 year deals to work harder. And it also gives us the money to, you know, to give the big bucks to the players in the future that we know we're going to need in order to sustain our success, i.e. Jaden Daniels. Because I don't care what nobody says. We got what? 4 more years. Well, I'd say maybe 3 more years left in this window, if you will, because his sophomore year.
And we're going to re-sign him before year 5, for sure.
Exactly. So his 4th year, going into his 4th year or after his 4th year, I'd say probably going into his 4th year just to save money, he's going to get that big contract extension. And I'm willing to bet it's going to be along the lines of $250 to $300 million with at least 200 fully guaranteed. I'm not capping, because we're talking 3 some odd years from now.
Facts. Go sign it. Hey, sign the contract right now. Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? So they're going to extend Terry McLaurin, hopefully before the season starts. I mean, he's going to get paid, okay? Jamar Chase, just shout out to Jamar Chase. Congratulations on being the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. And shout out to T. Higgins for being the highest paid number 2 wide receiver in NFL history. I've never seen a number 2 wide receiver get $100 million.
Shout out to them boys. Hey, he's a number 1.
They earned it.
Listen, what did I say last week? We don't just want 1 number 1. We want 4 number 1s. We want 4 number 1s. Hey, if we play Madden, put everybody wide. Everybody's a number 1. I want Randy Moss on this side, Terrell Owens on this side, Antonio Brown in the slot.
I running the slot. I want
what? Come on now, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I like what they're doing, and I like what you're absolutely right. Like you're doing what the Patriots have done in the past. That's a great strategy. The only difference is we're actually able to draft talent.
Yeah.
The Patriots were getting all those draft picks, but they weren't doing anything with it.
That's true.
You know,
great point.
They might have got Randy Moss in the trade, but when it came down to it, Bill Belichick was suffering when it came to picking draft picks. He did not do well down the stretch. But in AP, we trust. So we're looking forward to the draft this year.
I'm looking forward to it too. I'll probably say he's going to maybe sign maybe 1 or 2 more people. You know, I think the big splash in the water is over, if you will.
Oh, like for sure.
The Laramie Tunsil move was probably the biggest move in, you know, for the offseason for us. I don't really foresee us, you know, signing anybody else. All the wide receivers and all the other free agents, they probably aren't going to get picked up until closer towards training camp. After the draft and closer towards training camp. Because now, when you think about it, we took care of our top core needs in free agency. We got our left tackle. We got a wide receiver. We got a defensive end. We got a safety. We got a cornerback. You know, we re-signed our linebacker, our leader on defense, our linebacker. We got his protege in Louisville already locked up. We got Deron Payne already locked up. We got what was his name last year? The DN that we drafted with the foot issue earlier. What was his name?
Johnny Newton.
We got Johnny Newton, right? Oh, De'Ami Brown left. It's nothing. We got the other Brown. Okay, the one that actually made the play that fucked this winning streak. Okay, he didn't. I don't ever remember Noah Brown fumbling. But I'm just playing. I'm just talking shit. But like the point is, like we're in a position right now where we're about to hit this first or second year technically of this Super Bowl window. We're gonna hit the ground running, man. And we got 62 active players on the roster. So we only got 5 draft picks.
So
So
you
we
telling me,
got some more
Co,
work to do.
in a week and a half, we went from 22 to 62. AP is working. 40
Yeah,
people in less than 2 weeks.
he hasn't
AP
slept,
is
man.
working.
He hasn't slept, and I respect that. We have a competent GM. Now, if you look at the success of the 49ers these past few years, he's literally modeling the Commanders after that roster. The only difference is we got 5. We don't have Mr. Irrelevant and Brock Purdy. Shout out to Brock Purdy, who's about to get a pretty good contract too. That's why the Niners are dumping all the players so they can pay him. But
Yep.
he's building the trenches, right? We got arguably the best tackle. We got Coleman. Watch Coleman. Mark my words here, Brodies. Your boy Coleman might be a Pro Bowler this year because he's going to be in his
At
natural
guard.
at guard.
Okay. Right
At
guard.
guard.
Coleman
Whenever
and
he
right
touches, he's going to
guard.
be that good.
Write it down.
Write it down.
We're going to have the
Okay.
best right side in the game.
Hey, so unless he plays like swing right tackle or something like for the time being, I don't know. But either way, the Commanders are doing it the right way. They locked up the left side, the blind side for the foreseeable future. We need that. The offensive line is pertinent to keep Jayden Daniels from getting hurt. Now, from a wide receiver standpoint, I'm having the feeling that we're probably going to get Golden or somebody like that in the draft.
So you saying first pick wide receiver?
I mean, it's either they're going to do best player available, but okay. I would say if the best player available is a wide receiver, why not? Why not?
Is that still your need? So okay, let's talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about the draft a little bit. We've seen what they've done in free agency. You've named some of the positions that they've attacked. With what's left, is wide receiver your biggest need going into the draft?
I would say the biggest need right now would be edge rusher. Still, it will still be edge rusher. Okay. It will still be edge rusher. Like defense wins championships and defense travels. So I've watched enough football to know that you can win the Super Bowl either way. You can win with a potent offense. You can win with a stout defense. But one thing that is important in any championship, the defense was still in that top 15-ish range. You're not going to find too many Super Bowl champions that didn't have a defense that was at least top 15. So that's going to be most important, is improving the defense. Because I would say Deebo Samuel, you can count on him getting hurt possibly, in earlier or in the late season. So there's going to be times where Austin Eckler's already had 2 concussions since he's been here. We may have to lean on our defense if our offense kind of slows down due to injury. So if we are, this draft is actually stacked with a bunch of defensive ends, a bunch of edge rushers. So we got our pick of the litter there, and I would say with those first 2 picks, wide receiver, or defensive end, one of the 2.
I like that, Co. You're absolutely right. We haven't made the big splash in free agency like I hoped we would at defensive end. We've addressed the position enough, but I think those players should be left to be depth players. We still need a big player at defensive end. So I hope you're right that that's where we approach the draft as our biggest need. But I think your first answer is the right answer in that best player available. If it happens to be offensive lineman is the best player available at 29, take him. If it happens to be a receiver is the best available, 29, take him. I still have running back high on my list, so I would say trenches and skill position is the way I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
We still need to address the trenches. We want to be one of those teams that's dominant up front, whether it's offense or defense. So address the trenches at all times. And then the skill positions, running back, wide receiver, tight end. We could get better at each of those positions. So I'm looking at that. And then we can move on from there. If there's a DB that you really like, get them.
Yeah.
So we're still a team, especially when you look at the Eagles. We're still a team that's a little bit further away from completely filling out the roster to where it needs to be. So we still have a lot of positions to fill out. We're not like one position away, but again, we got 5.
And you know what? That's interesting that you said, because Kevin Sheehan, shout out to Kevin Sheehan, and Ben Standing, who is a correspondent for the Skins. Shout out to Ben Standing as well. They were kind of going back and forth because one believed that they were in win now mode, and the other one believed that they weren't all in on winning now. And that kind of, I don't know, that kind of like ruffled my feathers a little bit, because it's like, if someone spends, think about it. We spent at least what, 6 draft picks on 3 players. We had a few with Lattimore, we had one with Debo, and we had a few with Tunsil. I don't think an organization is willing to trade away that many picks if they're not in win now mode. Now, if you're going to be all in, I think people, when they say, oh, they're all in, they're making a huge splash on like big players. Like, say, like we got Myles Garrett and T. Higgins, and so on and so forth. Then people will probably be like, oh, with these big splash free agency signings, these guys are all in for this year. But I'm like, okay, we didn't really make those huge big splashes because the free agency class really wasn't that good this year. But you can't sit here and say that we're not all in and win now mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, look what we've done. We're not going to trade away all these picks for these.
Bro, we won 14 games last year. Like, how could we not be all in?
We're all in.
We were one of the last 4 teams standing. How could we not be all in? And we got 5 coming back. As long as 5 is here, we're all in. Like,
exactly.
That's the approach from here on out. And I'll say this. I will say this, Cole. I was one of those people last year. I was hoping we finished the season like with one of the worst records in the league. I'll be honest, because I'm not a fan that's like, if we're not gonna win the Super Bowl, to me, let's get the number 1 pick next year. That's how I think as a fan, because like I would always want to get the best player available. The best player is gonna be at the beginning of the draft, so I'm always thinking like that. Like, let's tank. Let's tank for Tua. Let's tank for Jaden Daniels. Like I said it last year. It's the best thing we could have done is be bad so we could be in the number 2 position to get the number 2 quarterback between Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. We happen to get Jaden, and look what it's done for us. So
it's so weird, man. Like, it's so crazy to even be talking about a possible Super Bowl run. Is that like
from
that's
the number 2
thing?
From the number 2 seed to the 29 seed, if you want to call them seeds, but yeah, from the number 2 pick to this year, we're picking 29.
Yep.
It's incredible to see how far we went in just one season. So yeah, we're all in. You're not the 29th pick, and you're not all in. Even though San Francisco, and again, this is another good example. The 49ers, they're 1 or 2 years removed from the Super Bowl now, and now they're not all in. But last year they were all in. They kept Brandon Ayuk. They kept Debo Samuel. They kept Trent Williams. Mm-hmm. All of those players came into the season disgruntled. Meanwhile, Christian McCaffrey is coming off an injury. You got Brock Purdy on a rookie contract. They were still all in.
They were all
in.
But
after what happened last season, now you're like, okay, maybe we can start selling. So you can always change. If the season changes and you're like, you know what, let's go a different direction. You can always go a different direction. But until otherwise, until you get an RG3 injury, that just, okay, God forbid something like that. But until that happens, oh no, once we got 14 wins and we were in the NFC conference championship. Oh, we're all in from here on
We're
out.
all in, baby. Yeah.
And no, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's basically the gist of it. I mean, we wouldn't be making these type of moves if we weren't all in. And one thing that Adam Peters is doing that he's seen with his time with San Francisco and also just seeing what the Rams have done, that is he's like we're all in, but we're not going to put all of our eggs in the basket. We're still planning for the future. We're not going to give away all our draft picks. We're not going to cap out. Now we're stuck with these players, for the next 3 to 4 years or whatever. All this money against the cap. We have no draft picks for the future, and all that good stuff. That sets you up for failure. Being all in is kind of like saying, "Oh, we got to win this year, or it's over." And I'm like, no, we're not that desperate, but we're definitely
Right.
all in. And if you don't think that we're looking to win the Super Bowl in 2025, you got another thing coming. But let us know what you think there, Brodies. Again need to be following us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Click on the bottom right-hand corner and subscribe. Again, we're approaching 500,000 views here.
Let's go.
Now, moving on, we you got to take a quick water break, baby. We ain't in our 20s no more, man. You know what I'm saying? It's one glass and that's it. I got work tomorrow.
I'm telling you, you got to have your glass and then have your water, man. I'm telling you.
But always drink responsibly, Brodies. Maybe we'll get a beer contract or some or beer sponsor. But as far as the next topic here, it's going to be kind of controversial because it's always going to be some people out there that it's going to, the topic is just going to fall on deaf ears, or at least the points of the topic are going to fall on deaf ears when you have an ulterior motive, or if you just have a biased opinion, or you're just dead set on believing what you want to believe. But either way, we're going to talk about it. The Brodies are going to talk about it because we want to support the way people say that we don't support, or men that is, and that is the WNBA. And a lot has been going on with the WNBA. Shout out to the ladies who just won the Team Rose, who just won on the winter league. Shout out to the Rose who just
on the
won.
Unrivaled. So yeah, shout out to Team Rose, and just even thinking about it, that's a crazy name. We know what women do with the Rose, so that's kind of a crazy name. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, we got to stay professional.
I'm not gonna lie, that's a wild name. Like Team Rose won.
Wow, I wonder who thought about that. But
yeah.
The players, for years now, it's nothing new. The ladies of the WNBA have been pretty adamant about wanting to get paid top dollar, and not just top dollar. They want to get paid similar to the NBA players. And you got people on one side saying that they deserve it, they should get paid that much, and then you got others that say they don't. Now, I don't know where you are on it, Wiggs. I have my own personal point of view towards it. So we can debate till the cows come home, but I just want to go off of the facts. Just so the audience itself can understand that we're not bashing in any way, and we're also not lobbying in any way. What we're doing is we're talking about the sport, and we're trying to generate enough buzz to give the attention it deserves. And also, at the same time, kind of create a level of expectation from a fandom standpoint as far as what to expect from the sport and from the league. So, just to kick things off here, Wiggs, Angel Reese and a few other ladies have voiced their opinions about going on a strike or holding out if the WNBA doesn't pay them more money. My question is it a legitimate ask for the players of the WNBA or just women's pro basketball in general? Is it a reasonable enough ask for them to get paid more money, number one? And two, is it logical enough for them to get paid the same amount of money as the NBA players?
Hey, I was all good till you said that last part. Is it reasonable for them to ask for more money? Absolutely. I think right now they're making, is it number 50? Is it like 50 or 75?
I'll go over the numbers.
Okay, so wherever they're at, they definitely deserve to be making more. I'll say that. The league is growing. We saw what the league did last year with Caitlin Clark, and it's a "what have you done for me lately" league. It's a "what have you done for me lately" type of world. And right now, they didn't hit the jackpot. They have Caitlin Clark, they have Angel Reese, they have Juju coming up, they have Paige coming up. The league is looking good. So can they ask for more money? Absolutely. Can they ask for NBA money? Hey, I almost spit my coffee out. I'm not even drinking coffee. I almost spit my coffee out. Like,
Yeah.
hell no. Hell, let's be serious. Hell no. Can they beat NBA players? Hell no. And they know that. So let's be real. Like, I love that they want more money. They absolutely deserve more money. But until they start dunking on the 10 feet rim, I don't want to hear it. Let's be serious.
Yeah, and it's like, and here's the thing: the ladies of the WNBA, they're top notch athletes. I'm not going to sit here. Let's just make one thing clear for all the ladies that may be tuning into the show. I am not a pro athlete. Okay, I'm not a pro athlete. I am a mortgage banker. Okay, I do loans. All right.
And I'm an accountant like shit.
You know what I'm saying? So I am a middle class citizen. All right. However, I am a sports fan and I also have a sports eye. Okay. And I may say, just for example, Angel Reese. I might say, oh, Angel Reese doesn't deserve NBA player money. On a one-on-one competition, can Angel Reese beat me? There's a chance she could.
There's a high chance.
There's a chance she could, right?
It is a high chance.
There's a high chance, right? I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I can beat Angel Reese one-on-one. But what I can say is you can't beat LeBron one-on-one.
Hey,
you can't beat Ja Morant one-on-one.
Cue the LeBron James music.
LeBron.
Hey, it's about.
Like that's all the male sports fans are saying is like, look, we're comparing you to the NBA product. Okay, you're going up against not top tier superior athletes. The strongest woman in the world can't beat the strongest man in the world. It just is what it is. The fastest woman in the world can't beat the fastest man in the world. We see it every year, every other 4 years in the Olympics. So it's not about bashing women. It's not about saying they're inferior as human beings. We're just saying when it comes to physicality and athletics, men typically tend to be the more dominant side, especially the pro athletes.
All right, hold up, Cole. We talking about all that, but let's talk about the numbers because the numbers are what matter. Do the numbers match? Because if I'm a woman, it's just like in the corporate world. Hey, if this dude he's a mortgage banker, if he's settling 10 loans a month and I'm settling 20 loans a month, I don't care if I'm a woman. I'm doing double what he's doing. So what are the numbers saying?
So here's the numbers here, bro. So we got the WNBA has this is based off of obviously Google. So we got the WNBA.
Hey, he said fact check him, man. It might not be right. Fact check us, man.
So the WNBA,
let us know in the comments.
It says 40 to 50 million in the 2024 season, a deficit of 40 to 50 million. Okay. Now that could be a total number because it also says here that the WNBA has been operating at a loss for many years, with the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver, stating in 2018 that the league has lost an average of more than $10 million annually since its founding. Okay. So that's just a report since 2018. So they averaged $10 million a year in a deficit, in a loss. Now, here are the salaries. In 2024, the average salary for the highest paid player in the WNBA is $147,745 to $241,984. That's the top paid player, like Asia Wilson.
Okay, that's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
Okay.
Not bad at all. Now, here is the average salary for the minimum salary rather for players in their first 2 years. $64,154 to $76,583. As a government employee, GS11, I make more than them.
Yeah, see, they need a raise. I'm gonna say they need a raise. They got a TV contract.
That needs to be bumped up.
They're in the entertainment industry. Let's get them over 100,000 at least.
Minimum. At least. Minimum. So I definitely agree on that. Now,
hold on. Let me ask you this, Code. Do you have NBA contracts just to compare?
So just to compare, we'll just do one player, okay? Let's do Steph Curry.
Okay. And then maybe like an NBA minimum contract.
Yeah, let's do that. That's a little easier. All right.
Because what I'm thinking is the top WNBA player, so Aja Wilson should be making more money than the lowest NBA player. So like you said, the average salary for the top player was 147,000 to 241. So if the bottom NBA player is making 250, the woman should be making at least 250 to 500.
At least, right? Now
that's what I'm saying.
Here's the minimum salary for NBA. The minimum salary for a player with no years of experience is $1.157 million, and increased based on years of service with 10 or more years. So if you're in the league 10 years or more, your minimum base salary is $3.3 million.
Okay. So, I like what the NBA is doing. I like that.
But here's the thing. The NBA can afford it. So let's take a look at the revenue.
Okay. Ooh, you about to hey, Code, you're not supposed to talk numbers, Code. We're just supposed to talk feelings, and we're talking about the women.
No,
we're supposed to talk about the feelings. How does it make you? No, tell me how it makes you feel, Code. Don't give me numbers, right?
Total revenue of the National Basketball Association during the 2023-2024 season, the 30 franchises comprising the National Basketball Association recorded a total revenue amounting to $11.34 billion.
Okay, what about the women? The women might have got 20 billion.
So
what did the women do?
$11.3 billion
for the NBA. Okay.
WNBA offseason.
No, give me this. This is the total revenue. Wait, what's this? What for the revenue?
200 million.
To 11 billion.
Now
they didn't even get a B. They didn't even get a 1B.
Check this out. And this is why. And this is what they need to understand. The average attendance.
So they're not even a tenth of the NBA.
The highest attendance in 2024 was 9,807 people. The stadium fills 30,000. So it's not about.
I mean, we might do that this year. Listen, I'm negotiating for the WNBA. We might do that this year. Okay. Listen, last year we asked them for what's the Wizards? The Wizards play at Capital One.
Yeah.
So last year, I think we got the Caitlin Clark game at Capital One. Caitlin Clark and the Mystics. This year, let them sell out. I think we can sell out Capital One when Caitlin Clark comes. I think we can sell out when Angel Reese comes.
But here's the thing, Wiggs. It's not an issue of whether these ladies deserve more pay. We've already discussed that. They do deserve more pay. The issue is they want more than what they are earning or what they are bringing in. So here's the thing.
You can't talk numbers and facts. We got to talk feelings.
Here's the thing, Wiggs. If you want to sell out games, right, you're going to need more people to buy the tickets. So the uphill battle that the WNBA is facing is that they're not getting enough support from the ladies. Okay, the men support the NBA, 100%. You don't have to ask the NBA for the fellas, but when you go to WNBA games, you don't see a majority. You just don't see a lot. You don't see a sellout crowd of majority women. When you go to the NBA, you see a sellout crowd of majority men, and you got some women there,
families.
right?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
family.
families and all that good stuff. A couple of gold diggers sprinkled between there and here and there. You know what I'm saying? But men and women watch the NBA. And from what it looks like, a lot of men are still supporting the WNBA. It's just that it's like, look, you guys are just now starting to really get a face. Unfortunately, there hasn't been a face to cross over. And Caitlin Clark was that last year. So now you have an opportunity to kind of, change the way you market the game, the way you market your superstars. There's a lot of things that you can change with the game that they're just not going to want to do, like lowering the rim, like Shaq. He suggested to lower the rim to get more dunks. They don't want to do that.
I'm not gonna lie. I like that. I'm not gonna lie.
I like that idea.
I think that's a great idea. I feel like that's one of those things where it's like when women say, "Don't say as a black woman, don't say I'm pretty for a dark skinned woman," and I get it. Like, just say you look good. You don't have to say as this. But when it comes to women's sports versus men's sports, we've seen the precedent. The volleyball net is lower for women versus men.
Mm-hmm.
I think the things that and when they run track and they jump over it, I think they might use lower hurdles. So I don't know why the women in the WNBA are acting like we're saying something so crazy. We're like, that's the thing for me sometimes when we get to arguing, and that's why I'm kind of joking around when I'm saying no, don't use numbers and facts. Like sometimes with women, like they've been so spoiled. In America specifically, the women have been so spoiled to even ask, to even have the audacity to ask to be making the same amount of money as the men, and you don't even make 1 billion. The men are making over 10. They're making over 10. You're not even making 1. Why are we even having this conversation?
Here's the thing: the WNBA wants the NBA to be their man, basically.
And in America. And in America, the man pays for everything.
Like no, exactly. You're a subsidiary league under the NBA. The NBA
you're supposed to help us make more money.
Still in business, they are paying your $10 million annual deficit.
And we want a return on that investment. Yeah. Exactly, and we want a return on that investment. We're not just doing this to keep like the whole point of getting a wife is to make more money, not to spend your money on it. And that's where you're seeing happening in relationships in America. We don't have to go down that road, but keeping it on track. Get your money up, WNBA. Let's see you do it again. You had one good year. You had a good year last year. Let's see you do it again. So, hey, let's go back to let's put it all together. What did AP do? He signed a 1 or 2 year deal. WNBA, prove it. Sign a 1 or 2 year deal that's in the middle. And if you can get to $1 billion, you can get some more money. Don't try to sign a 4 or 5 year deal. That doesn't make sense for you right now.
Yeah.
You're in this place where, and Juju comes in 3 years. If I was the WNBA players, I would be looking at a contract that's under 3 years that does involve some TV money because there are new TV contracts coming up. And that's really where all the money comes from. Mm-hmm. So the TV contracts are already set. How many games are y'all putting on air? You know, the NBA is doing this. The NBA's numbers are down. Let's see what the WNBA numbers do. If the WNBA numbers are going up, all right, give us 5%. Let's do 20%, but we'll only do it for 2 years. Yeah. And then we can come back to the table.
Yeah, so, they might have to have shorter deals to kind of generate more buzz. It's they're don't get me wrong. Like anyone who has really watched the WNBA, they'll tell you that it's a competitive sport. It's exciting. They ball out. You know what I'm saying? There's no doubt about it. But the challenge here is the entertainment aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Like close games are definitely entertaining. Okay, but a close game in my eyes, I'm just speaking as a sports fan in my eyes, is either a very stout defensive game, you know what I'm saying, where it's low scoring because the defense is so good, or it's high scoring and you can't stop either one of them. Whoever has the ball at on the last possession wins. Those are the two extremes. The issue with the WNBA is in some instances you'll have high competitive games, but they're still low scoring. You know what I'm saying? Or you may have instances where you have plays that, I'm just speaking facts here. You have plays that show that they're not as athletic as the fellas, i.e., go ahead.
I'll say this: they have their high school moments. They have their high school basketball moments.
Moments.
They have their amateur moments where you're watching the game and they could just go for a couple minutes of like turnover on this side of the court, turnover. Angel Reese is missing layups.
Layup, and it's a bad miss, like an air ball.
It's a bad miss.
You hit the top of the bottom of the rim or something like that, and you fall on the ground, like just amateur stuff. So,
right.
And not calling all of them that. It's just that you can see the level of athleticism. You know what I'm saying? And then again, LeBron James is 40 years old, still dunking from the free throw line. Angel Reese can barely do a layup. So
let me say this too,
Coach. $200 million.
Let me say this about LeBron. LeBron is not only does LeBron make the women look bad as far as athleticism, LeBron is making the 20-year-old men look bad as far as athleticism.
Right.
Like he's still moving at a pace in the league that a lot of young players are not moving at. So, when we've been spoiled by Michael Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, what you're saying is as a sports fan, as a basketball fan, if I want to watch a race, we'll take it back to racing, with Usain Bolt versus the Jamaican ladies. The Jamaican ladies are crazy fast. Usain Bolt is faster. So it's a question of, do I want to watch great competition between the women? Absolutely, I do. I want to see who wins the women's race.
Yep.
But if I want to watch the fastest runner in the world, I'm turning on the men's competition. And if I want to watch the fastest runner, that's more eyes, which means more revenue, which means more money, more sponsors, more everything. So it's just a matter of the numbers. And again, there are certain numbers that women are winning in. OnlyFans, women are killing it. Women are killing the OnlyFans.
It's a landslide over there.
It's a landslide. You don't see the men complaining, oh, we need to be paid the same amount on our OnlyFans as...
paid the same amount on OnlyFans.
Yeah, we don't even... It wouldn't even sound right.
Right.
Women are winning a landslide in the divorce rates, in the divorce court. You don't see the men complaining, so you just got to take it.
Shout out to Iman Shumpert. God bless him.
Oh man.
Another
one bites the dust.
Hey, many say you'll take an L when you go to the court proceedings, but I'll just say this and I'll leave that topic alone. If it was accumulated during the marriage, she gets half. Period. I don't care. If the wealth was accumulated during the marriage, she gets half. I don't care what she contributed to it or not. She was there. But if he came in with $100 million and she came in with a bag, sorry, you leave with that bag. You could put as much money as you want in that bag when you leave, but you ain't taking half.
Okay. There we go.
But anyway, but that's what we got there, Brodies and Brodettes. You know what I'm saying? Let us know what you think. Like, we really, really, really want the WNBA to flourish. Like, I was a fan of Cheryl Swoops and Cynthia Cooper. I even had Cheryl Swoops shoes. And
hey, they were like that.
Yeah, and a lot of Bama's don't even remember the original, like the inaugural years of the WNBA when the Houston Comets won the first 4 championships with Cynthia Cooper.
That was a great time. That was a great time.
Rebecca Lobo and the New York Liberty, like they don't, the last USA team actually had some pretty decent players. I mean, like last year's team was pretty good, but I don't think they're as good as the All-Star team back in the mid-90s.
So a lot of these kids weren't born. You showing how old you are. A lot of these kids weren't born when the WNBA first started.
Bro, they've erased their history
Their
from the
stats.
whole WNBA existence.
Did something happen? Was there
Well, the comments, this is another thing that the WNBA players and lady athlete supporters need to understand. The WNBA has been operating at a deficit since its inception. The Houston Comets, who won the first 4 championships, that organization has gone under. They don't have that organization anymore.
So it's like they don't exist almost.
Yeah, some of these organizations went under because they just didn't make enough money. You know what I'm saying?
They're trying to come back now. They're trying to come back now.
They got a new team out in Canada. I think they're going to be getting another team as well. So
I think Golden State just got a new team.
Yeah, so I like how they're expanding, but the only way they're going to generate more revenue is if they sell more tickets, if they sell more merchandise. They botched the opportunity when Caitlin Clark came in last year. She should have been on the Olympic team so you can sell those jerseys and make a profit. They botched that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? The NBA All-Star game is trash now, so they can't even grandfather some of these ladies in via NBA All-Star weekend because nobody wants to perform with them. And Caitlin Clark don't even want to do it because she knows it's a waste of her time. So there's just other things that they can do to improve the league, but it looks like they're trending in the right direction. Like you said, when Juju gets in the league, hopefully that brings in another, wave of fans. I'm definitely going to be watching more of it now. Now that I got someone that I can watch, you know what I'm saying, that's worth, I don't say worth watching, but that's exciting. Like, nothing against Asia Wilson. I think she's a great basketball player, but I mean, we got a freaking 5'8", 5'9" white girl from middle America pulling up from 40 feet. You don't see that every day. So I'm watching.
No, it's exciting. It definitely is exciting. And I think you mentioned it, Co. It's the Steph Curry effect. Like, there were a lot of good players from the time, like I said, Michael Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, you think about. But when Steph Curry came on the scene, it was like, yo, he's doing something different. Like, this dude is pulling up from half court. What Caitlin Clark does is special because I've been watching Juju this year, and people kind of ask, "Oh, why isn't Juju getting the same credit or the same press on TV?" It really is the Steph Curry, Caitlin Clark effect. Like, when you pull up from half court, it looks different than just a nice mid range. Like, if you know the game, it's like watching a boxing match and somebody's a defensive fighter. If you know boxing, you know Floyd Mayweather, you know how good he really was. Mm-hmm. And it was mostly defensive. Like, he wasn't knocking people out, but if you're a boxer, you know how good he was. When you watch Juju, you know how good she is because she can get to the hole, she can do the mid range, she can shoot from 3. Caitlin Clark can do all those things and pull up from 40. Yeah. It's just different. So shout out to Caitlin. No disrespect to anybody else in the league. It's a lot of good, talented ladies in the league. And that's, like you said, that's the thing about it is we actually want to see them succeed. So that's one of the reasons we're talking about it. And even though we make jokes and stuff like that, it's a lot of talented girls in the league. Like you said, the Unrivaled, the Rose just won tonight. Shout out to Chelsea Gray on that team. Shout out to Nafisa Collier in the league. She just got MVP and Unrivaled. That's my MVP for the WNBA next year. So they have a lot to look forward to. And Co, you did mention the holdup. I do want to mention 2 dates. The WNBA draft is April 14th. Mm-hmm. So we're in March Madness. Right after March Madness, the girls get drafted April 14th, and their league start day is May 16th. So month after month, those girls are going to be working. So if they don't get a contract by, let's say, May 16th, things can get very, very interesting.
Could have a holdout. Hey, and you know what? All publicity is good publicity because if they do hold out, that could create enough buzz media-wise because they're going to talk about it until the deal gets done.
So that could be a generate,
strategy. Enough, of a spark to get them rolling downhill, if you will. But definitely good luck to the ladies of the W. The Brodies here. You got support from us here. Let us know what you think on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Click on the bottom right hand corner and subscribe. But speaking of March Madness here, it's almost that time again. March Madness is right around the corner. Basically, going to start the tournament next week. We're finalizing the brackets now. But what we are going to be doing here, we're going to be talking about the men's side first, and then we'll get to the ladies later on. But what would a Brody Sports Talk show be without a countdown, right? So we got our Wiggs Final Four pick here for March Madness. Why don't you go ahead and kick us off here? Who you got on the east side here, Wiggs?
All right, so we just had Selection Sunday for March Madness. Like you said, Co, this is one of the best times of the year as far as sports is concerned. We have 4 different regions when it comes to the bracket. 64 teams actually have 68 because we have some more teams out to play to try to see who's going to get that seed. But yeah, Selection Sunday leads up to it. So we've got the East, the West, the South, and the Midwest. In the East, the number 1 seed, Duke Blue Devils, coming out of the East region. I think that the Duke Blue Devils have a great team. They've got Cooper Flag, projected number 1 pick. If the Wizards can keep tanking, like I said, for the Commanders, keep tanking, tank for Cooper. He's one of the best talents coming out of the league in a long time. They also have a lot of other good, talented players on that team. A deep team. Cooper Flag should be able to sit out the first game. Duke should still be able to win. On the east side, I'll also say I like Alabama, the number 2 seed, but I think Duke can pull this one out.
Yeah, I mean Duke is a perennial NCAA tournament contender. Definitely like Cooper Flag. I'm just glad that ankle injury wasn't even more devastating. So glad to see that he will make a pretty quick recovery. Hopefully, be back by the Sweet 16. But I definitely like that. Who you got for the West side?
Hey, for the West region, coming in at number 4. Hey, turn that W upside down, and you got an M for Maryland. So Maryland coming in at number 4. Let's go. Hey, we're everything DMV, so we gotta represent the home team. And this is definitely a tough bracket for Maryland. They just came off a tough loss in the Big Ten tournament to Michigan. It was a great game. Derek Queen showed up and showed out. So I think Derek Queen, after the loss in that tournament, is going to come out on fire in this tournament. He's going to show everybody why he's one of the best Big Ten big men in the tournament. And we have Maryland coming out of the West region. The other team I like in the West, another SEC team. We're going from Alabama, like it's football, to Florida, the number 1 seed in the West region. I really like Florida, but we got Maryland coming out of the West region. What do you think of?
I like it. I like the maturity of Derek Queen. I mean, he's only a freshman, so and he's a Baltimore native as well. So he's going up around the way. So he's probably familiar with the success of Gary Williams, excuse me. When we won the title back in 2002 with Juan Dixon and company. So definitely like that. Definitely rooting for Maryland because I don't care what nobody says. PG County and the surrounding areas of Maryland is the mecca of basketball, baby. You find the best players in this area.
Absolutely.
So, who you got for the South?
All right. Coming in the South side, the South region. We're going from Maryland to Michigan. Let's go. Hey, all my Detroit folks, you know how we do. Shout out to my boy Grady, a big Michigan Wolverine fan. And I really like Michigan. So I just mentioned Michigan beat Maryland in the Big Ten championship. So I really think that Michigan has a chance to go deep in these playoffs. Pause. Michigan has they have a full team. They have really good guards, and they got some. I was talking to I'm gonna call up one of my inside sources from Michigan about Michigan's team. And he was telling me they have some really good centers, some big 7-foot white boys. So we got Michigan on this side of the bracket, and we also have Michigan State and Auburn as my other teams to look out for in this bracket. That the South region is full. Like that's going to be a tough bracket. I can definitely see some upsets happening in that bracket. So look out for that bracket. So what do you think about Michigan in the South region?
I like it. I mean, like you said, they have some pretty tall guys there. Like what's this guy's name here? Derek Wolf. This dude is 7 foot. Danny Wolf, excuse me. He's 7 feet tall. He's a junior. They got some pretty decent. They got Trey Donaldson and LJ Carson. They're over 6'2". So they got a pretty big backcourt here. Burnett 6'5". I mean, they got guards here at a minimum of 6'2". So they're going to be playing big. So that's and in college basketball, I mean, it's a faster paced type of game, and when you got like bigs like that are 7 feet tall, that kind of slows the game down a little bit. So look for Michigan to win lower scoring games.
Okay.
All right.
Defensive
so
games for sure
for the Midwest.
So coming out of the Midwest, this bracket to me was one of the toughest to decide on, but I'm gonna go with Kentucky. Calipari is not there anymore, so let's see what Kentucky can do now. Was it coaching? A lot of people said it was. They said Calipari was holding them back. Let's see what these young guys can do now. Kentucky's using the transfer portal to fill out their roster. It's a new day. It's a new day and age. We can use the NIL, the name and likeness, and that's what we're doing. So the other teams I like in the Midwest region, number 2, Tennessee. The SEC is in great shape this year. You've got Alabama, Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee. Any one of those teams can go. I actually have Kentucky being the team that's going to go, but I also like Tennessee. And I also like the number 1 Houston team in this Midwest region. But what do you think about Kentucky?
I mean, you mentioned it, man. Like the SEC, I mean, they're arguably the toughest in all of college sports, football and basketball. So
the NIL has changed the landscape.
Yeah, and I think like you mentioned, this is a prove it year. That Calipari is gone. I mean, he mastered the one and done philosophy, if you will. He kind of fostered it, if you will, or lobbied for it because he was all for his players getting paid. So I mean, I guess I'm okay with that, even though it's destroying the NBA. But that's a whole other topic. But I like Kentucky. Typically, outside of your typical upsets and Cinderella stories, normally the top 5, top 4, top 3 teams normally make the championship. So I like Kentucky. They're always a contender. Definitely a great pick there.
All right.
Cool.
So I know you said we'll get to the women's next week a little bit more, but just to give a brief view, we're definitely supporting Juju and USC. South Carolina, Dawn Staley. Those are my 2 quick picks for the women, man. For sure.
Yeah. We'll do the women's side next week. Pause. Oh, actually, no. That's a full play right there, baby.
Hey, we're good with that. We're good with that.
That's the full play. But yeah, let us know what you think, Brodies. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and click on the bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Definitely appreciate the love and support. But that is it for this week's show. It's the Lord Head Co-World with my main man, Wiggs. Signing out here. We'll see you next week, y'all.
Peace.